Hey, does it get any better than this, than football on the weekend? I'm here with the Valley Small Fry Seahawks. It's time for local highlights, spotlights, scores, and more. Welcome to
Morning Time Football Fridays!
This last weekend was a tough one for our local high school football teams. 3 of them lost big. One lost by a tighter score, but with big playoff implications. The Section 4 Football Conference Division 8 has a knot at the top. First, Candor beat Groton. Then Tioga Central beat Candor. This past weekend, Groton beat Tioga Central. Moravia is also in the mix with one division loss, and this weekend the Tigers have to travel up to Moravia to meet them on their home turf. This is going to be a very interesting situation. Stay tuned as the Division 8 race for the title shakes out. Let's take a look at what happened to the Tioga Tigers this past weekend.
This one came billed as a big defensive battle, and it was. But one big offensive play early set the tone for the whole game. First play from scrimmage, Groton's Sam Wright takes it and goes yard. 47-yard touchdown run, score 6-0 Indians. After that, the Indians took their yardage in smaller chunks. They only had 181 total yards rushing. Groton got another TD off a fumble before the half and added one more early in the fourth quarter. Tioga's lone score came in the third quarter when Cody Bennett ripped off a 61-yard run for the score. Tyler Spires was the leading ground gainer with 62 yards on 15 carries, and he also blocked 2 Groton PAT attempts. Cody Bennett and Dave Ulrich split time at quarterback. The Tigers had 187 total yards against the Indians and 9 first downs. Also perched atop the D8 standings with 1 loss is Moravia. Tioga plays them Saturday in Moravia. Game time is 1:30. The Sayre Redskins couldn't overcome North Penn's balanced offensive attack down in Blossburg last week, but the Redskins could turn the Panthers' losses into their gain. North Penn fumbled the football 3 times, and Sayre took it back for touchdowns twice. Joey Yanuzzi ran one for 48 yards, and Mike Bostwick scooped up another and turned it into a 96-yard scoring run. Sayre's other score would be a 22-yard pass from Dom Volanti to Jesse DeGudis. But there was no stopping the Panthers as they win 42-21. Sayre is finally back home this week for a Saturday night game. They host the Troy Trojans for homecoming.
Alfred, this is you.
Waverly was looking for a victory against Division 4 rival Owego Friday night at homecoming, but the Indians had other ideas. The Wolverines held the score to 7-0 Owego until just before the close of the first half. The Indians put another touchdown on the board as time expired, and Waverly went into the locker room down 14-0. A 15-yard penalty for excessive halftime length to start the second half took the wind out of the Wolverines' sails even more. Despite quarterback Zach Cooney's 119-yard passing night, the Wolverines fall on homecoming night 28-0. Saturday afternoon, Waverly heads west to take on the Southside Green Hornets. They, like Waverly, have 1 victory this season, having won last week against the Johnson City Wildcats. Waverly lost to Johnson City 2 weeks ago, 31-16. When Athens hosted the Hughesville Spartans last Friday night at Alumni Field, Hughesville brought an unstoppable ground game. Running backs Cody Butler and Ethan Showers combined for 412 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns in the Spartans' victory over the Wildcats. Despite the lopsided score, Casey Shiposh had 131 yards rushing against the Spartans, and that's how you do that, right there. Second quarter, Luke Wright is in at quarterback. Nice pass into the end zone. He finds Kurt Moore for an 8-yard touchdown strike. Hughesville finished on top, though. Final score, 48-20.
You've rushed for over 100 yards in the last 2 games. But anybody who looks at the statistics so far this season knows if they can shut down Casey Shiposh, they can do well against the Wildcats. What does Athens' offense do to adjust to that?
Well, the coaches are doing a good job working the O-line. Got a lot of young guys, and we started off struggling, but they really picked it up and doing a good job. So.
Thanks again to our colleagues at WETM-TV and the 18 Sports Blitz for their help with the video coverage of the Athens game. The Wildcats are on the road Friday night, taking on the Panthers of North Penn, and that is Dave's feature pick this week.
There are 3 things to consider when you look at the Athens-North Penn game. First of all, North Penn has a very good running game and a good passing game, so Athens will have to defend both well. Second of all, North Penn has a thing for putting the ball on the ground. They've done that 13 times this year, including 9 times in the last 3 games alone. Third, Athens' running game has been very good in the last couple of weeks. Casey Shiposh putting up 140 yards on Conestoga Valley, not very impressive. 130 plus on Troy. That's pretty good. 130 plus on Hughesville. That is very impressive. And it tells me that the Athens running game is up and running as it should be. What I think you're going to see down at North Penn, I think Athens gets the turnovers it needs. I think Athens walks away with a 26-21 win. Now here's Melissa with her feature pick of the week.
Before I get to my feature pick of the week, I have some schedule changes to tell you about. The Saturday afternoon kickoff times have changed. Up in Moravia, Tioga Central will be kicking off at 2:30. Waverly is in Southside, and that game will start at 3 p.m. The places are the same. The times have just changed. Now on to my feature pick of the week, the Waverly Southside game. It's concerning to me that Southside was able to manhandle Johnson City last week. Waverly struggled against J.C. Wildcats 2 weeks ago. We know that both teams like to throw the ball. I think that Zach Cooney's going to be bothered by a pass rush all afternoon, and the defensive backs are going to have their hands full taking care of the receivers for Southside. Still in all, I think it'll be a good, high-scoring game, and as much as I'd like to see the Wolverines prove me wrong, I'm going with Southside on this. Final score, 44-35.
Well, we're out of here for another week. Off to cover your favorite high school football team.
And don't forget to pick up this week's Football Friday print edition for even more information about this weekend's football festivities. Click back here next week for more local highlights, spotlights, scores, and more right here on Morning Times Football Friday.